Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into a pretty terrifying thought experiment, one that forces us to look at the sudden, desperate need to evacuate our home planet. What if Earth actually became unlivable? I know, it sounds like a scenario straight out of a science fiction movie, right? But when we break down the actual logistics of this concept, it reveals some absolutely fascinating and honestly kind of chilling realities about human survival. We're going to map out exactly what stands between us and a brand new home in the stars. Let's get right into it.
I want you to really put yourself in this headspace for a minute. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, hopping out of bed, turning on the news, and bam, you're faced with the ultimate worst-case scenario. The unthinkable has literally happened. This question is no longer just some hypothetical debate for a late-night conversation. It's an immediate, pressing reality staring the entire human race right in the face. So, what would humanity actually do? Could we really just pack up and leave?
If scientists stood at a podium tomorrow and delivered this exact announcement, Earth will no longer be habitable, the panic would be instant. But here is the truly terrifying part that we need to wrap our heads around right from the jump. Sure, we have incredible technology. We can launch humans into space, and we can even send missions around the moon. But we do not currently have another home. There is literally no backup planet fully built and waiting for millions, let alone billions, of people to actually live in. Sending a few highly trained astronauts on a quick mission is one thing, but transplanting human civilization, that's a completely different problem.
Okay, let's dive into this. If we're forced to evacuate, our most likely target is Mars. But that brings us to problem one, extreme distance.
I really want to slow down for a second and let the immense gravity of this number sink in. 140 million miles. To put that into perspective, that is roughly 5,600 times around the Earth's equator. Crossing a distance like that takes time, a lot of time. In fact, NASA estimates that a human mission to Mars means spending roughly 3 entire years away from Earth. Just think about the last 3 years of your life, and now imagine spending that entire duration locked in transit, millions of miles away from literally everything you have ever known.
And all that distance brings us to the true, unfiltered isolation of deep space. Put yourself in the spacesuit for a moment. You're out there, millions of miles away. There's no grocery store to run to if you're out of supplies. There's no hospital down the street if you get sick. There is absolutely no emergency helicopter coming to airlift you to safety if things go wrong. Out there, in the dark, if something breaks, you fix it. You are entirely 100% on your own.
And as if the crushing isolation wasn't enough, we immediately run into problem two, invisible radiation.
It really comes down to a stark contrast. Here on Earth, we are constantly surrounded by a thick atmosphere and a super strong magnetic field, an equation that basically equals safety. It protects us from so much of the dangerous radiation hurtling through space. Honestly, we take these natural shields completely for granted, but out in deep space, travelers lose that natural armor entirely. No atmosphere, no magnetic field. Zero protection equals immense danger and lethal vulnerability.
Which brings us to this terrifying definition. Radiation in deep space acts as a silent assassin. It's a deadly space threat precisely because human senses literally cannot detect it. You can't see the cosmic rays bombarding your ship, you can't smell them, you can't hear them coming. Deep space travelers will be constantly facing this stealthy killer, and it's going to require massive amounts of shielding and technology just to survive the journey, let alone the destination.
Okay, so let's say you've somehow survived the journey and the radiation. That brings us to problem 3, alien gravity.
This creates a brutal chronological toll on the human body. Let's look at step 1. Your body right now expects Earth gravity. But in step 2, astronauts would have to spend months floating in complete weightlessness during the journey. Without gravity constantly pulling on you, you can lose up to 1% of your bone density every single month you're in space. Then comes step 3. You arrive on Mars, and you have to live in gravity that's roughly 1/3 as strong as Earth's. Your body has to adapt all over again to this hostile environment. And finally, step 4, if you ever manage to return trip, your weakened body would have to adapt yet again to Earth's crushing gravity. Your body is just constantly fighting to function.
Now, what's really interesting about this idea is how it forces a massive paradigm shift, building a new Earth.
Because to survive millions of miles away from our home planet, we'd essentially need to bring Earth with us. If our home became unlivable tomorrow, humanity couldn't just pack a suitcase and hop on a rocket. We would need to construct pressurized habitats from scratch. We'd need entirely self-sustaining food systems, highly advanced water recycling, the whole shebang. We're talking permanent radiation protection, relentlessly reliable power grids, and comprehensive medical systems capable of handling literally any crisis. It is an unimaginable amount of technological infrastructure.
So the crucial point is summarized perfectly by this core question. Maybe the biggest question isn't simply, can humans leave Earth? Because honestly, leaving our planet might actually be the easy part of the equation. The real question is, can humans build another Earth? Recreating every single life-sustaining system that our planet just gives us for free, out in the harsh vacuum of space? Now that is the real boss fight for humanity.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. After seeing the extreme distances, the unseen threat of radiation, the incredible biological toll of alien gravity, and the massive technological checklist required literally just to stay alive, I want to leave you with this. Weigh these harsh realities against the sci-fi fantasy. Would you move to Mars if Earth was no longer safe? Yes or no? Something to think about.